Hey everyone, it's your host Freya, and welcome back to our special summer mini-series all about the NFL, learning America through football. The NFL is often associated with snowy stadiums, freezing temperatures, and fans bundled in heavy winter coats. But today, we're traveling somewhere completely different. Imagine walking through the streets of New Orleans on a warm Sunday morning. Jazz music drifts through the French Quarter. Cafes are serving fresh coffee and warm beignets. Fans dressed in black and gold greet each other as they make their way toward the Caesars Superdome. Here, football doesn't just feel competitive, it feels like a celebration. Welcome to the NFC South. This division takes us through Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, and North Carolina. It's a region known for warm weather, incredible food, rich musical traditions, and some of the fastest growing cities in the U.S. Before we meet the teams, let's answer an interesting question. Why is the NFC South one of the NFL's youngest divisions? The answer goes back to 2002. That year, the NFL expanded to 32 teams with the addition of the Houston Texans. The league reorganized into 8 divisions with 4 teams each, creating the structure we still see today. I remember that change very well. As a young Detroit Lions fan, I grew up watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as one of Detroit's division rivals. Back then, Tampa Bay played in the NFC Central alongside the Lions, Packers, Bears, and Vikings. But after the 2002 realignment, the Buccaneers moved into the newly created NFC South, while Detroit and the others maintained the NFC North. If you've ever looked at old NFL standings and wondered why certain teams used to be in different divisions, that's why. There's another reason this division is unique. Long before the NFL became popular across much of the South, college football was already deeply woven into everyday life. Universities like Alabama, LSU, Georgia, and Florida attracted enormous crowds every autumn, creating traditions that stretched back for generations. Professional football arrived later, joining a region that already loved the sport. Now here's another English word reminder. When people describe the weather as humid, they mean the air contains a lot of moisture. Humid days often feel hotter than the temperature suggests because sweat doesn't evaporate as quickly. If you visit this part of the U.S. during the summer, you'll probably understand that word very quickly. Our first stop today is New Orleans, Louisiana. Few cities in the U.S. have as much personality as New Orleans. Founded by the French more than 300 years ago, the city blends French, Spanish, African, and Caribbean influences into a culture unlike anywhere else in the country. It's famous for jazz music, Mardi Gras, beautiful historic neighborhoods, and unforgettable food. The New Orleans Saints joined the NFL in 1967, but for many years they struggled to win consistently. Then in 2005, everything changed. Hurricane Katrina struck the Gulf Coast, causing catastrophic flooding across New Orleans. The Superdome, the stadium where the Saints played, became an emergency shelter, and for a time the Saints couldn't play in their own city. When the team finally returned home in 2006, football became much more than a game. The Saints gave people something to celebrate during one of the most difficult periods in the city's history. And just a few years later, led by quarterback Drew Brees and head coach Sean Payton, New Orleans won its first Super Bowl. For many fans, that championship symbolized not only football success, but also the resilience of the city itself. Today, Saints fans proudly call themselves Who Dat Nation, named after their famous chant that echoes throughout the stadium before every home game. Our next stop is Atlanta, Georgia. If New Orleans celebrates history, Atlanta represents the modern South. Atlanta has grown into one of the most important cities in the U.S. It's a major center for business like Coca-Cola, music, film, and transportation, and its airport is regularly one of the busiest in the world. The city also played a central role in the civil rights movement as the birthplace of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The Atlanta Falcons joined the NFL in 1966 and are still searching for their first Super Bowl championship. Like many sports teams, they've experienced moments of both excitement and heartbreak. Their most famous game came in Super Bowl 51, when a remarkable comeback by the New England Patriots turned what looked like a Falcons victory into one of the most memorable games in NFL history. Although Falcons fans would rather forget that ending, they remain hopeful that the franchise's first championship is still ahead. Atlanta itself is always changing, and in many ways the Falcons reflect a city that's constantly looking toward the future. Our next stop is Tampa, Florida. When many people think of Florida, they imagine sunshine, beaches, and palm trees. Tampa certainly has all those things, but it also celebrates a much older part of its history. The city's football team is called the Buccaneers. A buccaneer was a pirate who sailed the Caribbean hundreds of years ago. While real pirates were criminals, pirate legends have become an important part of Florida's coastal history and culture. Every year, Tampa hosts the Gasparilla Pirate Festival, one of the city's biggest celebrations. A pirate ship sails into the harbor, thousands of people dress in pirate costumes, and the streets fill with music and parades. Suddenly, the name Buccaneers makes a lot more sense. The team joined the NFL in 1976 as an expansion franchise and struggled during its early years. Over time, however, the Buccaneers became champions, winning Super Bowls in both the 2002 and 2020 seasons. It's a reminder that even the newest teams can build proud traditions. Our final stop is Charlotte, North Carolina, home of the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are unique because they represent two states, North Carolina and South Carolina. Although they're separate states today, they share many historical and cultural connections, and Panthers fans can be found across both. The team joined the NFL in 1995 and quickly built a loyal following. One of the most meaningful traditions in the entire league is the Panthers' motto, "Keep pounding." The phrase comes from former player and coach Sam Mills. After being diagnosed with cancer, Mills encouraged the team with two simple words, "Keep pounding." His message was about facing challenges with courage and determination. Today, Panthers players and fans continue that tradition, proving that sometimes the most powerful football traditions are really about life. One thing I enjoy about the NFC South is that every fan base has its own unique personality. Saints fans who proudly chant, "Who dat?" Falcons fans believe the future is bright for one of the South's fastest growing cities. Buccaneers fans celebrate with pirate flags and the firing of the ship's cannons inside Raymond James Stadium after every Tampa Bay touchdown. And Panthers fans proudly repeat the words, "Keep pounding," remembering Sam Mills and the spirit he inspired. Of course, every division has its rivalries. The biggest in the NFC South is between the Saints and the Falcons. Although the division itself is relatively young, these two teams have been playing each other since the late 1960s, and their fans genuinely enjoy trying to beat one another. The Buccaneers and Panthers have also developed strong rivalries with their divisional opponents as the years have passed. Like the division itself, these rivalries are still growing with every new season. Today, the NFC South is one of the NFL's most competitive and unpredictable divisions. Every team believes it has a chance to compete, and the balance of power can change surprisingly quickly from one season to the next. Before we finish, here's one final English word. Hospitality means welcoming guests and making them feel comfortable. You may hear the expression Southern hospitality, which describes the South's reputation for friendliness and generosity toward visitors. Whether you're enjoying jazz in New Orleans, exploring Atlanta, relaxing on Florida's Gulf Coast, or visiting the Carolinas, you'll often hear people speak proudly about Southern hospitality. As we've traveled through the NFC South, we've discovered that football here reflects the character of the region itself. It's warm, it's welcoming, it's full of music, food, festivals, and communities that love to celebrate together. The traditions may not be as old as those in some other NFL divisions, but they're no less meaningful. Every autumn, millions of fans gather to cheer for their teams and celebrate the places they call home. And that's what makes the NFC South such an interesting way to learn about the modern American South. Now I'm curious, if you could spend one football weekend in the NFC South, where would you go? Would you choose the music and food of New Orleans, the energy of Atlanta, the pirate traditions of Tampa, or the beautiful Carolinas? Let me know. Thanks for listening to the Sharing English podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you'd subscribe, leave a rating or review, and share the podcast with a friend who's also learning English. You can find out more about me and the podcast at our website, www.sharing-english.com. New episodes of the Sharing English podcast are available weekly wherever you listen to podcasts. As always, let me know, what topics are you interested in hearing more about? Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep sharing English.